Fox News senior political analyst Brit Hume blasting the White House press corps during President Obama's news conference. Brit was tweeting, "Questions from White House press corps are pathetic. As of this moment, not a single tough or challenging inquiry." Brit joins us. Well?
Hi, Greta. Well, there weren't. By the time I wrote that, there hadn't been any tough or challenging questions.
Why not?
Well, there are a couple of reasons, I think. One is that there's a long tradition among network correspondents who cover the White House of asking presidents of both parties challenging questions. They may sympathize with the president, but they ask challenging questions. No network correspondents, network TV correspondents were called on today. Our Ed Henry wasn't called on. Our colleague Major Garrett from CBS, who was here before, wasn't called on. Jonathan Karl of ABC News wasn't called on. NBC News' guy at the White House wasn't called on. And that was obviously deliberate because the president said he was just reading off his list that had been furnished him by Jay Carney. So they stayed away from those guys who were accustomed to asking tough questions. They went to the wire services, which is the custom. They got sort of routine questions from them. And then they went to a bunch of print journalists, all of whom, for some reason, until we got way late in the news conference, asked very mild questions.
What would you have asked?
Well, one thing you could have asked would have been, first of all, one question that was never asked was about the Obamacare rollout. In addition to the technical problems they've had with the website, which have been pretty serious, there's also all kinds of things we now know about Obamacare as it is coming into effect that represent broken promises by the president as to what it was going to do. That has to do with keeping the, remember you were promised you could keep your own plan if you liked it and your own doctor and all the rest of that. Well, none of that, a lot of that is off the table. It seems to me that the president could have been asked about that. He could have been challenged on the things he said about default, when he actually almost conceded that default on government debt, that is to say on our national debt payments, could be avoided. And somebody should have followed up with that and pinned him down on that. That never happened either. Well, it was a very weak performance by the press corps.
He has said, and I think quoting the Secretary of Treasury, that it would be catastrophe if we run into the situation we hit the debt ceiling, which is interesting because one of my Greta Wire bloggers said one of the questions asked of him is that why, when you were a senator, did you think it was okay to not to raise the debt ceiling, but suddenly now you think it is? Well,
not only do you think it was okay not to, he voted against doing so. And in the past, the White House has, when asked about this, has said, well, it really wasn't, we weren't that up against it, it wasn't that close, and so on. The vote, as was pointed out today, was 52 to 48, which meant 2 senators going the other way. The debt ceiling wouldn't have been raised, and we'd be very much in the pickle that the president is warning us about now. So his vote could very well have counted in that situation. So I don't think that's a very good excuse, but that could have been used as the premise of a question as to why it was not okay for the Republicans to do and the very thing that he himself did.
We have 20 seconds left, which is not much, but Speaker Boehner, does he get tough questions?
Yes, he does. He doesn't get very many. He doesn't appear that often, but my experience, from what I can tell, is that he does.
Well, it's interesting to watch the press. I always love watching these press conferences because the longer you talk, the less questions you get as well.
Well, President Obama's good at that.
Indeed he is. Brit, always nice to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.